What a lovely day it is. It's rather a nice view, isn't it? At the end of that, you see, just where the break comes is the Thames. That way is Maidenhead, and this way is are all the other, the rivers. The famous ferry is just down here, Twickenham ferry. I'm very fond of that tree. You might have a look at that tree, because it's rather rare. That tree I saw, reflected in a looking glass, struck by lightning. I mean, it's very unusual indeed to see anything struck by lightning, but that particular tree, which is, although rather large, the apple of my eye, it doesn't belong to me, of course. It's a wonderful tree. It's 105 feet high. And the lightning, all the bark, all the loose bark was stripped off, and the particular bit of lightning I saw went into, lifted them in the two branches, you see. Bits of bark, I think, that have been nestling there, and a little tiny funnel of... The funny thing is, I mean, just as a matter of experience, although I can remember every detail of the smoke spiraling up from the burning bark that the lightning had lit, you see, it's only a little bunch, I suppose, I can't remember the noise. It must have been a terrific bang, you see, with it. I felt nothing about that at all. I didn't feel any kind of shock. I was in bed. Best place you could be, isn't it? I was surprised it didn't break the glass. All these windows, it didn't break a single pane of glass. It was heavy rain, so it put out any small fire. But all the bark was just shed like a woman taking off her petticoat at the bottom of the tree, and I believe it's not out of danger yet. It looks all right. I mean, it's come out this spring, you see. It was the spring before this. But I've heard that if a tree is struck by lightning, it doesn't live more than 5 years. You ever heard of that? Well, I hope it isn't true. It'd be an awful thing for that to go, wouldn't it? Beautiful tree. No idea how silent it is here. You've noticed that. You've noticed that. I've sometimes sat reading in that corner when alone, you see, up here. And I've looked up, wondering who was listening. Funny. Lord Mansfield lived in this South End house one time. He was a great judge. And I remember reading an account of a trial that he presided over in which a witch was charged with witchcraft. And they said that she'd come, she went from place to place on a broomstick, you know that old. And she was acquitted. And he said in his summing up, he said, "You have been acquitted of the charge against you, and you are now free as any of us, to depart from this court and go back to where you please. And you can go just how you please. Any vehicle at all, from a broomstick to a coach." That's what he actually said. Lovely. I think she went on her feet, no broomstick. It's a funny old idea, that, about the broomstick, isn't it? I don't know what the origin of the broomstick is at all. They used to go on the broomstick, you see, to attend the witches' coven, as it was called, when the witches from miles around met in the small hours of the morning. And as they had any other kind of vehicle, they rode broomsticks. I've never done it myself. It might be even pleasanter than an airplane, mightn't it? Have you ever seen anyone you thought might be a witch?